What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk in the Shop. This week we're going to talk about tips, tricks, and a couple little secrets to catch real finicky crappie. That's right. You know, last week I dropped that crappie fishing video last Sunday. Caught some really good ones, man. Like I said, I love doing that this time of year. It's a lot of fun. I'll be doing some more of them soon, I'm sure. But one of the things I mentioned in there is how tricky crappie can be to get to bite, especially when they're suspended around docks and suspended around trees. They have feed windows throughout the day where they bite really good, and then they have times throughout the day where they don't bite at all. I mean, anybody that's crappie fished a little bit, you know what I'm talking about. You can sit there, you can watch your jig come right by them, they'll chase it out, they'll look at it, but they just don't want to bite it. And there are a few little tricks that I've found over the years that you can use that will absolutely get you a few more bites sometimes. I mean, you keep hitting them in the head with that jig, and you use these little tricks right here, and sometimes it'll get you a lot more bites, and it can turn a bad day into a good day really quick. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about, the first real secret that I want to talk about, is carrying different sizes of jig heads. And I know that sounds elementary, but just hear me out, guys. So rate of fall is a big deal whenever you're crappie fishing. So my three favorite sizes are 1/32 ounce, 1/24 ounce, and 1/16 ounce. There they are. This is the 1/32. In the middle is the 1/24. The pink one is the 1/16. As you can tell, there's not much difference there, but you'd be surprised how much difference in the rate of fall is with those when you rig a jig up on them. Probably, I would say my all-time favorite size for casting for crappie or shooting docks for crappie is a 1/32 ounce. I use it all the way down to 15, maybe even 16, 17 feet. I use a 1/32 ounce just because I like that rate of fall, and it holds that bait in that strike zone for a long time, which is what I'm looking for. The longer you can keep that bait in front of that crappie's nose, the longer he has a chance to decide whether to bite it or not. And the longer, you know, I just feel like the longer you can keep it in front of his face, the more bites you get. So like I said, that 1/32 ounce size is definitely my favorite. Make sure you choose a jig head that has a good mustad hook in it. All my jig heads are hand poured. I buy them at a local tackle store here around my house, and they're all poured with mustad hooks. I don't get too carried away about the head color. I use just regular old lead most of the time, to be honest with you. I've played around with pinks and chartreuses. I don't think it really makes that much difference. I think that rate of fall makes a lot more difference. The second size that I carry is a 1/24 ounce. It's between the two sizes. If I've got, say, 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, or say I'm gonna try to fish my jig from 15 down to 20, maybe 25 feet, I'll go up to that 1/24 ounce size. Now, if the wind kicks up, say it's a day I'm out there and I just want to go fishing and it's 10 to 20 mile an hour wind, it's hard to feel the bait. It's hard to keep up with what's going on with my jig. That's when I go up to a 1/16 ounce. And there are rare occasions where I'll even go up to a 1/8 ounce. I have seen times, but that's very rare. Normally a 1/16 is about as big as I go. And it works really well, like I said, when you've got some wind, because it's very important when you're crappie fishing to always know what that jig is doing at all times. So that leads me into secret number 2, use high-vis line. This is Vicious Panfish 4-pound high-vis yellow mono. I know some guys like using braid. There's some guys now that are using fluorocarbon for crappie fishing. I do just fine with this 4-pound mono. It's inexpensive. This roll, I mean, there is 2,960 yards of line on this roll. So one of these rolls will last you for 2 or 3 years. I mean, they're perfectly fine. Just keep them in the shop out of the sun and they'll last for forever, man. I've had this spool for a couple of years now and it's still perfectly fine. But this is really good line. It's really subtle. Doesn't have a lot of memory to it. 4-pound is the best all-around size for crappie. In my opinion, I think 6 is a little bit big. I think 2 is a little bit light, although you would probably get more bites with 2. I don't know, but I like 4-pound for all my crappie fishing. And being able to see that line is the whole key to this deal. You would not believe when you use high-vis line and you really pay attention to it, how many more bites can equate to fishing your boat, because that jig will just be falling, and all of a sudden you just see that line just stop falling and you're over 60, 70 feet of water. Well, if it stops falling, guess what? A fish don't have hands. He's got it in his mouth. So set the hook, you know. I mean, it really is that simple. It sounds crazy, but, and one more little tip that I'll give you guys just real quick. I tie a loop knot a lot too. That's a cool little tidbit that I'll throw in there as well. I like a loop knot whenever I'm fishing with this line. That's what I tie 90% of the time. It just keeps that jig tracking straight all the time. But yeah, get you some high-vis mono. It's a game changer, I'm telling you, for crappie fishing. It really is. Third thing that I really want to talk about, and this is something that I debated not even talking about because it's pretty secret. I feel like not enough guys talk about scents and dyes when it comes to crappie fishing. I've seen a lot of times where dyeing the tail of a jig. So let's take a fairly natural colored jig. This is a Bobby Garland. I think they call that blueback shad or threadfin shad, something like that. Take that and just barely dye the end of that tail in chartreuse. I've seen a lot of times where that makes a big difference. Well, let's talk about this one right here. This is Smelly Jelly. Not sponsored at all. Don't have any connections with this company, but I use this stuff a whole lot. And I've seen times where I can be sitting there fishing for a school of fish. Me and a buddy be standing here on the front deck of the boat side by side, and I get down and I put some of this stuff on my jig, and I'll start catching them every cast. And it won't be long, my buddy will be digging for some of it too. I'm telling you, scent, not so much. Whatever brand you guys play around with, different brands. I mean, I carry several different ones. Here's a Procure. Here's another Smelly Jelly. I carry 4 or 5 different kinds of scent with me. I don't know that one is any better than the other one, so I'm not trying to sell you on that particular brand, but I'm just telling you, I think scent is a big deal in all aspects of fishing. But in crappie fishing, I especially think it's a big deal. So, you know, definitely keep that in mind. Like I said, that's the Smelly Jelly. The pink one is my personal favorite. But I swear, guys, I really believe it makes a difference. Keep all that in mind. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you liked the video the other day. I'm going back fishing again tomorrow. I hadn't made my mind up yet where I'm gonna go, but we're gonna go somewhere. I may go back to Tim's Ford and play around and try I got a couple ideas of a couple more videos I wanna do up there. But I don't know, I got the Bassmaster Open at Smith Lake coming up next week. I'm sure I'll do some videoing, you know, and let you know how practice is going there, and probably do a couple of tournament videos out of that deal. But anyway, just wanted to hop on here out of the shop today, tell you a couple of little tips and secrets about crappie fishing and how I go about it and what I use. I hope you guys are having a good week. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Share it with your buddies. Hit that subscribe button for me. I appreciate you. I'll see you back here next time. Real Talk in the Shop on Brandon Lester Fishing.